The universe is big. It's so big that no words can make you truly understand just how big it is. But I'll try. So go to this website, or just Google "the moon is a pixel." It gives you the best, accurate, true scale of the size of the solar system, in my opinion. When most people think of the solar system, especially whenever we're younger, they think it's this smaller, flat, even ring of planets. But no, the solar system is big. It's already bigger than we can comprehend, but let's keep going. So try to imagine shrinking the whole solar system to sit on your fingerprint. At that scale, the Milky Way would be about the size of the United States. And the nearest galaxy, Andromeda, would be about 70,000 miles away, which is almost 3 real Earths away. Now, I know nobody can comprehend this, but if the solar system is sitting on your fingerprint and the Milky Way is the size of the United States, the observable universe would be about the size of the solar system, the real solar system. Basically, the universe is very big, very, very big, and even bigger than that. So given its size, and the fact the universe has been around for billions of years, where is everyone? The universe contains trillions of galaxies, each containing hundreds of billions of stars and planets, meaning there are around 100 million chances for life. Surely there has to be someone else out there. Even if life is rare, there are still so many chances for life to exist. Let's say life is only on 1% of 1% of 1% of planets. Well, given that our galaxy has around 100 billion stars, and assuming that each star has around one planet, there should still be around 100,000 civilizations similar to us. Yet we look up and see nothing. No signs, not even a hint. Are we alone? Are we truly alone in this void, in this hostile, vast, possibly infinite universe? If we aren't alone, then where is everyone? This is known as the Fermi-Paradox, and is one of the biggest modern mysteries known to man. Although we don't have a solid answer, we do have several ideas on why it's so quiet, ranging from interesting to truly terrifying. Here are some of them. 1. Life is much more rare than we think. We see life on our planet, and we know how difficult it is for life to evolve past a certain point. We know how perfect the conditions have to be just for us to survive, and how if things were off just by a little bit, none of us would be here, and how life can be wiped out in seconds. So the idea that millions of civilizations are just out there just like us might be a little far-fetched. Our own planet has produced billions of species throughout billions of years just for one to make it this far. And even that was extremely lucky and came with a lot of struggles. We don't even know how the first life was made. We know it's complex and something that can't be made easily. And if you need perfect conditions over billions of years, then it just might not be plausible to think life is everywhere. So maybe we really are the first ones in the whole universe to ever make it this far, because someone has to be the first. 2. The Great Filter. This is the idea that there is something, a filter, that stops civilizations from reaching a certain point. There are so many things that can wipe us out. Like, today it's very easy to sit here and think the universe is made for us and we're just going to survive forever. But in reality, the universe is extremely dangerous and unforgiving. We're only able to barely survive in a very, very small pocket of the universe. This is the only planet that we know of that we can even survive on. And even then, most of our planet isn't even survivable longer than 2 minutes. And this planet could get hit by an asteroid, a comet, another planet, or by a gamma ray burst, a supernova, a solar flare, or getting by a black hole, and probably a million other things we don't even know about. Life has barely made it through multiple mass extinctions on a planet with perfect conditions. And now we have the ability to destroy everything and everyone within seconds if the right people decide on it. So maybe the reason why we don't see any intelligent life out there is because they're all gone, either killed by the universe or killed by themselves. Like, we invented nukes less than 100 years ago. Imagine in another 1,000 years the things we'll have which could really put us in danger. If even just one of these things go wrong, it's the end of us. And the longer we exist, the chances of us hitting one of these filters continues to grow. And this could be the reason why we don't see anyone else out there. 3. They don't care. In the pursuit of trying to find other life on other planets, we have to make a lot of assumptions. Our planet is the only example of life we have to go off of. We assume other intelligent life would even be interested or want to explore past our own planet. What if their planet is perfect and they don't have curiosity built in? What if they focus more on themselves and they go into a digital world rather than the real world? What if other life doesn't even see light and doesn't even look up at the stars? If we ever find life, there's a very, very good chance they won't be anything like us. We just have this assumption that they'll be interested in the things we're interested in, like at Star Trek. Look at our planet and how varied life is. What if at the bottom of the ocean, we find an intelligent group of octopuses that have completely different goals from us? We can't talk to them, communicate, or offer anything to each other. Life on another planet would be an even bigger difference. So we shouldn't be so quick to assume the other life would be like us. 4. Life is too simple to be detected. Maybe microbial life is abundant in the universe, but developing past that is much more difficult. When life began on Earth, it was just single cells for millions, possibly billions of years. Think about that. Not just a few days or a few centuries, but billions of years of just cells and simple life. Maybe life is on a lot of planets, but intelligent life is a big jump. There's a big difference between chemicals to cells to fish to dinosaurs to rodents to monkeys to us. Each one of those bridges could be a filter and could be harder to cross than we think. If other planets did have life, complex life even, like they have dinosaurs, it really wouldn't matter to us because they're still too primitive. So whenever we're looking up trying to find life, they can't just be smart, they can't just be complex and have society, but they have to be so advanced they're conquering other galaxies. We aren't even there yet. We barely made it to our moon, but we're looking for intergalactic space races, and we're expecting to see a bunch of them. 5. We are young and dumb. We just figured out that we were at the center of the universe only 500 years ago. We just figured out how to fly and use radio a century ago. And at the time of this video, we just took our first picture of a black hole just 5 years ago. On a universal timescale, this is nothing. We are infants when it comes to the long game. Maybe we don't see anyone else out there because we don't even know how to look or how to communicate. Imagine an ant climbing a small hill, overlooking everything, and is confused when he doesn't see anything else or understand the universe. You would look at that ant and realize he has absolutely no idea. He would have no idea that what he's looking at is only a fraction of the real thing. He couldn't comprehend dimensions and time and physics, and the fact that billions of giant aliens are watching him and studying him. That he's only one of a billion species of animals that don't communicate to one another and are actually pretty violent towards one another. And this is all taking place on a giant rock. That is nothing compared to the massive void containing trillions of other worlds and possibly other universes. We are basically like ants. The more we learn about the universe, the more we realize we don't know. There could be proof of life right in front of us and we wouldn't know. I mentioned before that life could be too small and simple to detect, but it could also be that life is just so different that we wouldn't even know it's life even if we were looking right at it. Because a lot of people, whenever they think of aliens, they think of like these little small gray humanoid creatures, but the chances of an alien actually looking like that is slim to none. They could be giants, or they could be the size of beetles. The foundation of their biology could be completely different from us, with different methods of communication and replication and goals and structure, etc. We just have no idea what life could even look like, or even how it works, to the point that even if we found life, we probably wouldn't even know it. 6. Black hole civilizations. So basically, for life to continue, it needs energy, and you can get energy mainly from your planet and from stars, but as a civilization grows, it would need more. So the idea is that we could get energy from black holes, as they are some of the most powerful things in the universe and can basically last forever. So let's say you do want to get energy from a black hole. Okay, cool. But if you watch Interstellar, you know that time gets really weird the closer you get to one. As you approach a black hole, time stays the same from your perspective, but everything outside of you would speed up, and everyone looking at you from the outside in would see you slowing down to the point that you basically become frozen in time. So if an advanced civilization at some point did want to use a black hole as an energy source and it gets close to it, it would be impossible to detect them and communicate with them, because depending on how close they are, a second from their perspective could be a billion years for us. Maybe all of them do this at some point, appearing frozen in place next to a black hole, making detection basically impossible. Big boy civilizations. So on Earth, for a species to survive, it has to be able to control and kill other species. Otherwise, it will be killed. This is known as survival of the fittest. If this is how it works for other life in the universe, it could be the case that there is some ultra powerful civilization that has killed every other civilization and has taken the resources. Basically Viltrumites. Also meaning us, new to this game, sending out probes and signals telling everybody where we are might be extremely dumb, because if there is a universal apex civilization, they could wipe us out or enslave us and we couldn't do anything about it. Exploring the universe basically unlocks unlimited possibilities, and sending out where we are to someone we don't know and could be a million times more advanced than us is dumb, in my opinion, of course. 8. Distance. This is my personal favorite and why I don't think we see anyone, and we might not for a very long time. Space is big. I mentioned this before, but it is literally impossible for you to truly grasp just how goddamn big space is. The space we talk about is only the observable universe, from the light we are able to see, but we are almost 99% sure that if we were to go to the edge of the observable universe, there isn't just a wall, and it just keeps on going, and space is much bigger than we can even observe. Whenever you're watching a scale of the universe video, most of the time they're showing you objects in space, which is very impressive, but the really scary part is the actual space. The space between these objects, the void. The space between objects is so big that even going at the fastest speed limit in the whole universe, it would take generations to go anywhere meaningful. Andromeda is the closest galaxy to us and is over 2.5 million light years away and is moving towards us at over 250,000 miles per hour and still won't reach us for another 4 billion years. So a very interesting thing about that is that 99.99% of the galaxy isn't actually stuff, but nothing but space. So if we were somehow able to still be on Earth whenever they were to collide, there's a very good chance that nothing would even happen to us, because it would almost be like, it would just be a bunch of nothing hitting each other, because space is just that big. So imagine again the whole solar system fitting on your fingerprint. The nearest star to us would be over 500 feet away. Space is so big that whenever you look up at planets and stars, you're not even seeing the real thing. You're seeing the ghost of what was there, because it takes light that long to reach us. So imagine right now, someone is able to zoom in on Earth, but they're over 100 million light years away. Well, even though right now we're humans and we have satellites and we're shooting off radio waves all around us, if they were to look at us, they would only see dinosaurs. There wouldn't be any proof of intelligence or technology, just big ass lizards. Even a couple million years ago, the world has changed so much that we are unrecognizable. Now, Andromeda is 2.5 million light years away. That means whenever we see Andromeda, we're actually seeing it how it was 2.5 million years ago. So this is interesting. Let's say there is another civilization similar to us in Andromeda that started off primal and it took them 100,000 years to get their shit together. Let's say everything went perfectly and it took them 1,000,000 years to completely take over Andromeda. And then they had 1,000,000 years of perfectness before destroying themselves after a great 100,000 year war. We literally wouldn't even see the first signs of intelligence for another 300,000 years from now. Andromeda could have literally blinked out of existence 1,000,000 years ago and we wouldn't know. Assuming the speed of light really is the fastest we can go, there's a good chance space is simply too damn big to see signs and much less communicate with other civilizations. Light is fast, but it is extremely slow when you put it up against the universe's size. And the universe is expanding faster than light, so at some point, anything outside of our group of galaxies nearest to us will literally be impossible to reach. If we ever do find other signs of life, it might not be for millions or billions of years from now, which is nothing compared to the age of the universe, but is thousands of generations for us. 9. A combination. Usually the answer is somewhere in the middle. Maybe the reason why we don't see anything or anyone is because life is extremely rare and there might only be a few chances of life per galaxy. And this life is so advanced that they would be invisible to us and they wouldn't even try to reach out. And even then, they're 10 billion light years away and we couldn't even communicate with them. Or they could have taken over the entire universe, forgot about us, and they're all chilling by ton 618. Or 10. Maybe the final reason we don't see anybody is because we really are alone. Maybe somehow in this void, we really are the only ones to ever breathe, exist, and look up at the stars. This would be extremely unlikely, but it is a possibility. As of today, we have no proof anything else is out there. The silence is so great that it breaks logic. Logically, we would assume that if there is someone else out there similar to us, and they've been around for just a bit longer, there would be signs. They don't have to come down and say hi, but at least something could point to it. But there is nothing but silence. Personally, I'm 99% sure we aren't alone in the universe. Do I have proof of this? No. Do I really know what I'm talking about? No. But neither does anyone else really. I can't say this enough, but the universe is too big. For every grain of sand, there's at least 10 times as many stars, each of them with planets. And it would be dumb to assume that we are the only grain of sand like this against all grains of sand on 10 Earths. We could be, it's just really unlikely. I think life is out there. I just think it doesn't matter because of how big space is. Because let's say Earth is a grain of sand, and we find another grain of sand like us, but it's all the way out there in Jupiter. Would it matter? Like, it would be cool to know, but then what? If it's going to take us 5,000 years to contact them, what's the point? And this is probably close to best case scenario, because finding someone within 5,000 light years would be huge. I remember the very first like universal scale video that made me feel something is whenever they were comparing stars. And it was the sun compared to VY Canis Majoris, which isn't even the biggest star anymore. And it felt weird because it wasn't just the Earth that disappeared, but the sun also became invisible. And then I realized that stars are actually some of the smaller things, and they completely fade into the void as well. Now, these videos can be very interesting and make you feel some type of way, but it becomes way worse when you realize these things are actually real. These aren't just fairy tales or something in a book. An apple is just as real and tangible as Ton 618, a black hole that could easily swallow our entire solar system over 10 times over. And that black hole is only a dot, an invisible speck to the universe, only being one of a billion others in this black void. And then somewhere in a dark corner of the universe, we are here, seemingly completely alone. All we have is theories, but none of these are answers. Now, what would happen if we did find an answer to this question? Because there are only two answers to if we're alone, and both answers are terrifying. So what would happen if we did find other life out there? Well, it depends. Let's say we find very simple microbial life on Mars or something. If we do, we can assume that life is abundant in the universe, because saying that the only life ever in the entire universe just so happened to be only on Earth and Mars next to each other would be crazy. It would mean that we aren't special and that there's so much more to learn. It would also mean that there is definitely life almost everywhere, but not necessarily intelligent life. And hopefully this could help us understand ourselves better, or at least give us some idea how life started and how it works. But if we do find super intelligent life, it strongly depends. If they are similar to us and have been around for just a millennia more and they aren't peaceful, there's not much we can do. They could destroy us like we destroy ants. If they are peaceful, then hopefully they can give us technology and information to help us, but this is very wishful thinking, honestly. They would be so different that communication would be almost impossible. Like, it wouldn't be like a movie when a group of people on a random planet in some random galaxies somehow know English. They could be giant or extremely aggressive. They could be like xenomorphs or something. They could carry some virus that could kill us all. It's a complete mystery, but the chances of it being good is slim. Even if we did find intelligent life, it would strongly depend on how far away they are. Even in our own galaxy, let's say we find a civilization that's 5,000 light years away. What could we even do? If we were to send out a message as fast as possible, it would take a minimum of 10,000 years to hear back, if they even got the message and respond. Then what? Everyone who makes this huge discovery will be long dead before reaching them. We'd have to convince at least 100 generations of humans to get on board with this one mission. And even then, what if the civilization we see is gone by then? What if they're aggressive? What if they destroy themselves? All other boxes still need to be covered. In my opinion, it's cool to know, but I don't see a point or a benefit in trying to communicate with other possible civilizations. It's way too risky for the slight benefit. Now, let's say we somehow figure out that we really are truly the only ones. First of all, that's terrifying. That the whole universe is out there to kill us, and we're just here alone on a small speck of dust. And second, I hope it would change the way we look at each other. If we are the only life in the universe, it would mean we are the most special and brilliant thing ever. If there are all time and space throughout billions of years, we are the first. The only life to ever look up and experience the universe. The first sign of the universe experiencing itself. That is nothing short of special and should be celebrated daily. I hope we will start looking at each other as something beautiful and sacred, as a miracle instead of an inconvenience. I hope it will create some sense of unity and bring us together. But realistically, that wouldn't happen. There will still be wars, violence, and hate, and we'll probably end up wiping each other out in a million years. A tier. Because it's a question that everybody has asked at some point. And if we find an answer to this question, it will change the way we live our lives. If we can confirm that we are alone, then I feel like it would change the way we look at each other. To know that we are the only thinking, living things in an infinite universe. If we somehow confirm that we are not alone, 99% chance we're fucked. Because whoever we find, we know they also found us. So are there aliens? Are we alone? I obviously don't know the answer to this, but I think the most logical reason that we don't see anything else out there in space is because it's just so damn big. Even if there was life, the space between us is so big that we couldn't even communicate with them or talk to them. And if light is the fastest thing, I don't know how we would even know if life is intelligent. Like, we could be looking at a lot of planets that have intelligent civilizations on them, but because, they're a million light years away, they look like nothing. But if we were to go there right now, technically they would have, spaceships and everything. Because us, even just a few hundred years ago, were completely different. So imagine like we're looking at like a part of space and we don't see anything that's, 50,000 light years away. Give that one little spot 50,000 years, it could completely change and be taken over by aliens. And, we just don't know that right now. If we ever want to find an answer to this question, we need to figure out how to go faster than light. Because if that really is the limit, then we're basically just going to be alone forever. Space is just so big that we probably won't see anything for millions or billions of years whenever we're all gone. So, yeah.